Hello, this is my third part, I guess. Gonna talk about my new grad applications and process, and also we're gonna go over all the offers that I got. Yeah, for you, I guess this is for me too, so I can summarize everything while I still remember. Um, okay, so wow, this is a lot of stuff in here. I think this is in the order I applied, but not necessarily in the order that I interviewed for. So with Zoom, I used to intern for them, and I did get the return offer, but I didn't accept it. And I guess one thing to start off with is actually I got the Amazon internship last summer, but I did not get the return offer. Um, and that could be for various reasons. Partially, it's probably because of my technical performance, but also this has been a pretty bad year for tech. And layoffs are pretty insane. So that could be partially it, but yeah, hard to really know for sure. Anyway, so Zoom had an internship offer with them before. So I emailed my old recruiter, and they got me through the interview process. Once again, it was very delayed. Had technical assessments. Wait, sorry, no. Here's really. So I had a behavioral interview where I drew my Amazon architecture. It's pretty in-depth questions. I had a technical 45-minute interview. The team I was interviewing with was a machine learning team. Um, and I went in not expecting machine learning questions, so I remember being pretty bamboozled. But I actually answered them pretty well, I thought. And I had a DFS graph problem apparently, so I think I did well on that. But I think they rejected me because they stopped hiring for new grads. Once again, like layoffs, and was laying off just like other tech companies. I actually found out I think one of the people that was interviewing me also got laid off. So I think they just ended up closing that team. So unfortunate. This would have been in San Jose. Um, yeah, on a machine learning team. So that would have been really cool. But oh well. Applied to those two places, probably never got back to me. So Cisco, actually, in terms of comparison to the rest, relatively short interview, only 2 hours. Um, First hour was half behavioral and half like kind of like question asking technical, not like coding technical. Well, maybe there is some coding actually. OOP and debugging. So no, there was some coding, but it wasn't like problem solving. Well, it wasn't like the typical algorithmic problem solving coding. It was like a little different kind of like maybe more um, yeah, debugging object-oriented programming. And the second one was the classical algorithmic solving programming. But it was pretty not too bad. It was not too bad, and I really liked the team was cool. And yeah, I was interviewing for the team. Fun fact: I actually got this. I got this interview in the first place because of Engineering Expo at UT. And usually at Expo, there's a bunch of other companies there, maybe like a few dozen. And well, honestly, like 50 maybe. And everyone's dressed in really nice suits. I usually didn't really find Expo very useful, especially in the past. Like Expo was not useful in getting my internships at all. But I actually got this interview. I think I was talking to one of the guys. He was a director at the time, but I think he just got promoted, or he was getting promoted to VP. And I was talking to him, and and of course I left out the biggest part. I was not in a formal suit at all. I was wearing like a headband, bandana, with like a pirate Mickey Mouse shirt and like jeans and a chain. I was just totally I went almost extra like casual, just to stand out because I'm screw it, I want to be cool. And and yeah, I talked with the guy, had a great interview with them. In fact, later I matched with the VP on LinkedIn, and he said that I was one of the guys who stood out to him. I mean, of course, probably because my resume is pretty good. I have a good elevator pitch, and I'm a pretty strong candidate probably. But it was just cool that I was able to wear whatever, and it actually ended up me getting an offer in the end. Microsoft, yeah, once again, layoffs didn't get back to me. Positions filled, never got back to me. Positions filled. I got a weird email saying that they got my coding assessment, but I never did it. So weird. SpaceX, they scheduled a phone interview with me. I got the guy's number, waited, no call. I texted him a few times, nothing back. So I was completely ghosted by SpaceX, even though they wanted to schedule a phone interview. Oh well. Didn't hear back from any of those probably, or maybe I just got an email that just said rejected off the thing. Optiver, really interesting. I think they're a market maker. They do fancy. They're basically kind of like a hedge fund, except they don't invest other people's money. They invest like their own money. Um, really hard coding assessment. Honestly, I thought I did pretty decent on it, but I got rejected. Whatever. General Motors, this is the first offer that I got, actually. Cisco was the second. Um, they had a coding assessment to start with, and then they had a entirely behavioral 2-hour interview. It's maybe the longest 2-hour or longest behavioral interview I had up to that point. They were just showing a bunch of slides, asking me a bunch of questions. This was a good warm up because I hadn't really been this is like one of my first interviews in the whole semester, I guess, for new grad stuff. So it was a good warm up to just just do a lot of behavioral questions out. And they also were showing like a lot of slides on like why you should join GM, blah 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 blah. And actually, the two people interviewing me, they weren't even software engineers. They were both mechanical engineers who've been in the field for quite a while. One of them's in the field quite a while. The other one was maybe, I don't know, like 7 years or something. But this, yeah. So we'll talk about the offers later. But yeah, overall, pretty reasonably smooth. Rejected off the coding assessment. I feel like I did good on it. I don't know why I got rejected. Uber didn't hear back. Silicon Valley didn't hear back. Jane Street rejected naturally. HP didn't hear back. IMC actually made it a lot further in IMC than I would have expected. They're also kind of like Optiver, a market maker, as far as I know. So I had a one-way interview and then a 30-minute behavioral interview. I never did a coding for them, and then I got rejected. Okay, maybe I didn't. I got rejected after this phone screen. Okay, well, I made it past the one-way interview, and that was it. So maybe I didn't get as far as I thought. Okay. Sophie, never heard back, whatever. PNG, never heard back. I did a behavioral and like IQ assessment, whatever. I don't even know what that is. Never heard back. Rejected. Never heard back. Visa. Code Signal that I did pretty well on. They're pretty hard coding assessments. There's a technical interview. Yeah, and I remember the lady. She was asking me some like, man, was there coding in there? I think there was some coding in there. Yeah, there was some coding in there. But I remember she also asked me some SQL questions. I just straight up said like, yeah, I cannot do this without Google. I don't really know SQL. And I remember at the end, I was like, damn, like I don't think I got it. She was like, oh yeah, you should definitely know SQL for like stuff like that. And I was like, okay, my bad. Phone interview, but I guess not really. I don't really remember. I had a 30-minute behavioral with the director of the team that I was working with or was going to work with. Also, they're based in like San Jose, like the Bay Area. And then I had a 30-minute technical with the staff engineer. Apparently, she was pretty young though. And it was a pretty simple. Well, it was a leak code problem, or very similar to one that I'd seen before. So I think it was once again, it was like a depth first search recursion thing. And I got an offer. So well, yeah, and once again, we'll talk about those later. Hudson River training rejected after not completing code signal. I think the code signal was in like C or something, and I was like, okay, fuck that. Circle rejected off a pretty reasonably strong code signal. Not the best one I've gotten, but I got rejected. Dell, I did get an offer for them eventually. So there's actually 2 positions that I applied for, and I didn't even realize I did that. One of them was one that I got from the expo. I talked to the guy. He gave me like a little bit interview on the spot, and it was an IT dev program. But then I realized, so I did their interviews and stuff, and then I realized they have to do a 7-hour hackathon where you like code a project with a team. And I was like, man, I really do not want to do that. Like that's a whole day of my time. And then I realized, wait, there's another program that I was applying for. So I just said, I screwed, I'll just do this one instead. And it was just a behavioral plus a 1-hour technical. The technical was, I would say, moderate difficulty. But we figured it out in the end. I was pretty nervous, I remember, in there. And I got the offer for Dell, so that's cool. Neuralink, I don't even know. Benchlink rejected. Bloomberg. Oh, yeah. I had a technical interview. And there was a reasonably easy dynamic programming question to do with factorials. And I just fucked it up. So, like, well, it's not like super easy. It's probably moderate difficulty, but like I definitely could have got it, and I fucked up. But whatever. Tech Talk That coding assessment I remember was really fucking hard, so I didn't even bother doing it. Virtue. This is also another market maker, or maybe this is a hedge fund. I can't remember, but it's one of those, stock people. And I did good on the coding assessment, HR call, got some brain teasers, blah, blah, blah. Technical coding, honestly, I thought I did decent. It was like to implement generic linked list. I thought I did pretty decent on it, but there's probably people who are doing like circularly linked lists or like doubly linked lists and all that shit. And I just did like a generic one in the time I took. Anyways, I got rejected. IBM rejected. BlackRock, I did horrible in their coding assessment. I remember it wasn't that hard, but I did horrible on it. So yeah, I probably got rejected. Nothing. Did nothing after a one-way interview. Nothing after one-way. Nothing. Gap. One of my buddies interned for Gap this past summer, and so I figured I'd apply. He had a pretty strong offer, so I figured I'd go for it. Also, people that I met at Expo, but I think I was just a little bit late. I had a really strong behavioral interview, like really strong. I think she really liked me a lot, but then the positions filled, so I never got to the next stage because I think they just had too many candidates. So whatever. Expedia behavioral assessment. So that must be not an interview, but a one-way like assessment and a coding assessment. And I remember I did really bad on it, even though it wasn't that hard. Once again, it happens. Never heard back from any of these folks. Positions filled. Schedule our first round. Positions filled. Positions filled. A lot of these positions filled. I think it's because like just the way the market is. So you know how it is. Gordian, they're a startup that does like flight stuff, maybe? Can't really remember. Anyways, I had a Google Meets interview, and I probably seemed like I wasn't really into the startup culture, which honestly I wasn't. He made it sound pretty not for me, and I got rejected. Great. Rejected off a 814 code signal. That was probably my strongest one. I got fucked. Never heard back. The Chewy I let expire because I think they're only based in like Massachusetts, and maybe their salaries weren't strong. And probably I already had some other offers. I didn't really care. PayPal positions filled. Rejected. Another offer finally. So Epic Systems is a healthcare software company based in or near Madison, Wisconsin. We'll talk about this in depth a lot more. But the interview process, there's a really long skills assessment. There's like coding in there, but your code wouldn't compile, and you just like write it. Had a phone interview and a 3.5 hour final interview, including a 1 hour case study. And they just ask you, some questions about, well, they propose a problem and you propose a solution. And they, follow you up on different questions. A lot of this final interview was literally just slides, like why you should join Epic, kind of like the GM thing. I was like, holy fuck, this shit is long. Rejected, IXL did their assessment and interview, and I got rejected. Oh yeah, this is like a learning company or like online learning company for like kids. It's actually surprising I got rejected. I thought I did well. I don't know. Nothing important. Okay, so great. Now we'll look at the offers, and we'll try to look at it like chronologically speaking, and we're gonna be pretty transparent here with everything. So General Motors was the first offer I got. We might not look at this chronologically. We'll look at this whatever way I want because I'm in charge of the video. So General Motors first offer, it was a rotational program, 4 6-month rotations, start date there. The more important one would be this total ongoing. The total first year, I mean, that's good too, but includes a bonus. So total ongoing is the important part. And the base was 87 plus base is 87 plus a 10% performance bonus. Of course, that's not necessarily guaranteed. And a 5K sign-on if I stay for 2 years. That's reasonably negligible. But it was non-negotiable. It was in Warren, Michigan, which has a lower cost of living, but, I mean, Michigan. 15 days PTO is not bad, 15 holidays. So 30 days, that's pretty decent in terms of, like, time off. Contributes 4% of my base salary, which is pretty cool. Like, they automatically contribute 4%. And they match up to 4% of my contributions to a 401k. So total contribution at 8%. That's pretty strong, honestly, in terms of 401k. That's pretty strong. Card discounts, sure. So their benefits 4.4 on Glassdoor, which is one of the metrics I used. Blind 3.6 overall, so it's really strong work-life balance, but the rest are so. Um, and here's some total comp according to levels, FYI. Um, so overall, I mean, it's okay. I think Warren, Michigan is not one of the most optimal places I would like to be. This is like near Detroit. Not that I have anything wrong with Detroit. It's just I don't really want to be in Michigan that much. Um, like it's not like somewhere where I mean it's okay, but not somewhere where I'd prefer probably. The pay is I mean it's good in terms of comparison to like college new grads or even just the general American like median household income. But in terms of like where I want to be as a software engineer, could be stronger. Um, in fact, this was the lowest paying offer that I got. So yeah, overall, it's good I got the offer. It was the first offer I got, big ego boost. So yeah, not bad. We'll take a look at we'll take a look at Epic Systems next. So this is the fourth offer I got actually. Um, their comp was quite strong, quite strong. Total first year is 140K and ongoing 125. So the ongoing 125 very strong. Once again, so the base salary, you can kind of ignore this 110. It's basically 115. It was their base salary. They had a very vague bonus plan. I didn't know what the hell. I think there was intentionally left vague, but they did have pretty big equity. This is a private company, so it's not like IPO'd. But you would get 10K per year, so it's 50K over 5 years, it's 20% vesting per year. And then you got a 15K relocation after taxes, so that's pretty generous. And yeah, I mean their cost of living is not too bad, 6% higher, not nothing crazy. But one thing is, okay, there's a sabbatical program that sounds decent, but every 5 years, like who knows what the fuck I'm gonna be there for 5 years. They have only 10 days PTO, which is not a lot, and they only do 7.5 corporate holidays. So this is like half the amount that like GM gives, which is, I mean, that's pretty significant. And a few 6 days. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, it's not exactly half the amount, but it's significantly less. 401k, 50% of 8% of my income, that's okay. The Blind is pretty bad. I guess I should have explained this. So Blind is a website that it's kind of like a more pretentious and tech-based LinkedIn where you rate like other companies, people complain about their 400K salaries on Google. That's basically Blind. But it's also a good metric just to see like how you rate companies, and it's on a scale of 5. And honestly, if like a company has like a 3.5, that's pretty decent. Very few companies have above 4. So yeah, Glassdoor wasn't very strong either. So apparently people really did not care for these guys, but they did pay a lot. Even though it was non-negotiable, but they did pay a lot. So one thing that was cool is that they actually sponsored a site visit where I brought both my parents. We didn't have to pay for anything. They covered for flights. It was for a few days. I had another friend who got an Epic offer who also brought a friend of his, so we got to hang out over there in Madison. So we had like a mini vacation over Thanksgiving break, just to go check it out, eat some, all expensed food. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good time going there. I think it would have been nicer if it wasn't like, super cold. It was Thanksgiving, so not the coldest, but definitely not, the summer. Yeah, got to talk to some engineers, got to take a tour. One cool thing about Epic is that their fucking site is actually really sick. Like, they have a huge complex, and the complex, let me find some pictures of this. Epic Systems HQ. And like it's like a mix between like a Microsoft Office and like Disney World. Like there's like themes, like Harry Potter themes, like King's Crossing and like Alice in the Wonderland. There's like slides and shit. Like it's very, very Disney-esque kid-like headquarters. Pretty interesting, although they didn't allow remote work, probably to take advantage of their thing. I think that's just a thing, it's a private company. The CAO just wants to do whatever the fuck they want. So, man, I wish these are not the greatest pictures in the world, but I mean, it was pretty fucking cool to do the site visit, actually. Okay, we need to move on. We need to move on. We'll talk about Dell next, and then we'll talk about Cisco, and then we'll talk about Visa. So Dell, this is the third offer I got. It's once again a rotational program, just like GM. 3 years, so I think it was 1 year per rotation. So yeah, not bad. Total ongoing is 105. Base is, I mean, essentially six figures. And once again, this was non-negotiable. I think it's because based on basically most rotation programs, I think are unnegotiable, just to keep it equal between all people in the rotation. Um, Sure, and this would have been in Austin. It would have been entirely remote. So one thing I should have mentioned. So the GM was not remote. You would have to, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like in person. So you have to go to Warren, Michigan. Same thing with what the fuck am I doing? Same thing with Epic. You would have to go to Madison, Wisconsin, which is like not ideal. Like it's okay. It's not a horrible town. It's actually like a college town. Like there's some nightlife and stuff like that. Um, and that's some of the stuff that we checked out when we were there. But I mean, it's not like super great either. Yeah, also in terms of like the tech, like being able to be in a tech city full of other companies, like you might have to move again if you want to go to another like company, or it's very likely. Anyways, so Dell is fully remote. It was in Austin, so I could just stay here. I kind of wanted to stay in Austin anyway to go explore and check things out, and I like Austin. Um, and also I just want to like what am I saying? I want to go check things out in Austin because I haven't really been able to explore that much while I'm in college. I don't have a car, so it's been harder. And it's just easier just to stay in Austin for now and then work on it later. And also, a lot of tech companies are here in Austin now. Okay, so 105. Right, because with the bonus 5% base. Okay, but non-negotiable. Pretty good 401k, 6% with 100% matching. Pretty decent PTO, 16 days plus 10 days personal business allowance, like being sick or whatever, but not necessarily going to use all those up. Pretty decent corporate holidays, okay benefits. 3.7 on blind, reasonably strong. Once again, work-life balance is really good, but the rest are, I mean, not bad. Yeah, so overall, I mean, Dell was a pretty good deal. It's remote, it's in Austin, good 401k, good benefits, pretty strong salary, like overall pretty decent, non-negotiable, but this would have been a good job. Like I would have been pretty happy to have this, for sure. And obviously, getting this offer was big ego. So and obviously helpful when you have more offers under your belt, you feel more confident in your other interviews. So that was cool. Okay, we'll talk about Cisco next. So this is actually the second offer I got, but because there were negotiations, it actually took a lot of time to get to a point where I got my final offer. Or maybe it took some time, maybe a month or two. Um, Anyways, so this is also, we'll talk about the location first actually. So this is also in Austin. It's remote, but the office is in Austin, the team's in Austin, but it's going to be fully remote, so I can just stay at home. So once again, just like Dell, pretty ideal. I can go and grab lunch with the team every month or so, if I wanted to. So my original offer, the total ongoing was 99. So basically about 100K, which is obviously not bad. In fact, it's actually really good. But in terms of what we're speaking relative to, it's not bad. And I had two levels of negotiation with them. I had negotiated with them once, and then I negotiated with them again. And I will even pull up the negotiation email. So I emailed them the negotiation, and yeah, this is my part one. And basically, I negotiated with them by saying like, oh yeah, I have a lot of experience. I think like I'm worth more. Blah 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 blah. It took me a long time to write this because I mean this is very important. This is a lot of money on the line off this one email. And then I heard back. They gave me a counter offer, which is pretty strong. We'll head back to there. Um, right, they gave me basically a 10K raise here and like a 20K like extra bonus. Um, right, so the original base was this with a 5% bonus with a 10K like relocation and zero sign on. So the first negotiation pretty successful. I got an extra like 20K sign on and an extra like 10K like ongoing, which is very significant. Then with the part two. Then I got the Epic offer, and I realized I could use the Epic offer as leverage to negotiate with Cisco, even though I was pretty unlikely to accept Epic because I just didn't really like Epic's location, and they're also their like work-life balance seems like pretty dog shit. And also it's fucking cold up there. You know, I don't want to be cold. Anyways, so I hit him with this one basically saying that I have another offer that's very similar, with a lot of like a lot more. And then they bumped me up another 10K and another 10K in both aspects, and that was their final offer. And 120. This is basically yeah, um, comparable to the Epic offer. The Epic offer I think was 140K and 125. Except this one is here in Austin. It's fully remote. The work-life balance, as well mentioned before, down here, as I should have gone, is pretty good. So yeah, let's look at this. So they have a stock purchase plan, whatever. 4.5% salary match, pretty decent. I mean, it's more so average compared to my other offers, but I mean, pretty decent. A lot of PTO, 20 days per year, which is really, really strong. Plus a 13 other holidays, so 33 days like holidays over the course of a year, which is really good. 3.7, same as Dell, very strong. Good in like work-life balance, and I mean, decent in the rest. Yeah, and here's some opportunities to promote in levels. So overall, very cool. Once again, this is the VP that I met at Expo that got me this interview. Well, most likely, and yeah, very very happy with this offer, and I ended up accepting this offer. And this is as long as I don't get my offer rescinded, which who knows with how things are going now, who knows what could happen. But this is the offer that I've accepted as of right now. And it's a damn good offer. Being able to negotiate made a huge difference. I mean, I was able to negotiate 21K ongoing and over 30K as a sign-on. So just over the course of 2 emails, I that's 50K extra for the first like wait, am I fucking stupid? No, I'm stupid. Wait. First. Yeah. Wait, my brain is actually fucking exploding right now. So the first year. Okay. I see what mistake I made. Yeah. So basically, over the course of 2 emails, I was able to, for that first year alone, get an extra like 30K. Wait, why the fuck did I say? Yeah, I did not negotiate. So I didn't even negotiate 30K on sign on. I'm freaking brain damaged. I negotiated 10K sign on, or more so, like 12K sign on, 12K sign on plus 20K like ongoing. So I negotiated up like 33K like over like the first year, which is pretty insane. Over 2 emails, it's $33,000 for 2 emails. And that's just the first year. Once again, like it'll be 20K every year after that. So yeah, insane. Negotiation, very important. Definitely do it. Even if it's just through an email, definitely worthwhile. Get ChatGPT to help you out or something. I didn't have ChatGPT to do this, or I didn't use it at the time. Okay, last thing. This video is long as fuck. There's a lot to talk about. Visa. This is my final offer. Also, as you can see, extremely strong. In fact, this is the strongest offer I got in terms of compensation. You got equity, base 110K equity, 20K over 3 years. So you got a performance bonus. They did 5 to 10%. I think they said they usually lean toward the 10% side. I decided to call it an average 8.5, 7.5. And then you got a sign on and a relocation lump sum. I tried to negotiate. They said there's a little bit of wiggle room, but to be honest, the reason why I needed to negotiate this one really high up to even possibly consider it is because it's in the Bay Area. And the Bay Area is extraordinarily high cost of living, and I kind of wanted to stay in Austin already. So I tried to negotiate like 30% more, which they did not roll with, which is reasonable. I think if I asked for less, they probably, like if I asked for 5% more, maybe they would have got it, but I wouldn't have accepted the offer anyway. So once again, very strong PTO, very comparable to Cisco. And their 401k was insane, I think. Matches 200% up to 5% of salary. So you contribute 5%, they'll put like 10% in, which is pretty freaking crazy, I think. Is that right? In fact, I'm reading this now. It's like so good that it's actually fucking unbelievable. Like it's actually insane. 3.6 overall, so comparable to the rest. I think GM was 3.6. 3.6 on blinds, yeah. Dell and Cisco were 3.7, and Epic was like 2.8. So, um, yeah. Also during the interview, I remember, yeah, the first interviewer was not very friendly. The second interview was like fucking dead as fuck. But the director seems really chill, and yeah, this is the final offer I got. But with I mean, with Cisco being that strong, like basically Cisco's offer was, in terms of comp, was basically the same as this, um, except I mean just marginally lower. And also it was in Austin, so the cost of living is like a billion times lower, like probably like almost not exaggerating half the cost of living of being in the Bay Area. And yeah, I mean I liked my team when I interviewed. So yeah, as of right now, I have the Cisco offer. I start July 17th. I do look forward to well, first graduating and enjoying some time off. But then getting started and seeing like how the environment will be, and I think it'll be pretty chill. I hope I look forward to like getting to know the team better, and yeah, I don't know, getting into a job, having some actual spending money. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. So let's see if there's any final remarks. Yeah, I use this thing to try to set up like my behavioral stuff. Um, in terms of like technical interviews, it's leak code, it's hacker rank, it's code signal questions, so you just got to keep doing a lot of algorithmic questions to get yourself prepared. And you have to know your stuff, being able to present yourself, being able to present your projects, being able to solve problems and talk your way through them, all very important skills that have been refined over the past 3 years. Um, and yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I got like 5 different offers, which is extraordinarily fortunate considering the economical climate for software engineers that we're in right now. So very fortunate, got some strong offers. Yeah, and it's very easy to compare yourself to people who are stronger. In fact, I know people who are at Amazon or at Oracle or at Microsoft or at Apple, and I mean I just have some friends who are very strong engineers, and they're making bank, maybe 180K total ongoing, um, like with insane amounts of equity, insane amounts of sign on. But it's good to step back, zoom out, and to know that what you have is actually extraordinarily strong compared to not just graduates your age, but even compared to the entire population, including people who are 40 years old. So yeah, honestly, I can't complain. Put a lot of work in. I guess I would say that I got my work's worth out of it, and I'm happy with what I have. So yeah, I hope this information that I shared was useful to you in some way. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm bragging uh, too hard, at least. Um, and I hope this information is useful for me in the future, so I remember what the fuck I was doing and how much fucking work I put into all this fucking horse shit back in the day. So yeah, I say horse shit, but very important horse shit. Very, very, very important. All right. So I think we'll call it there. This video's fucking gone on long enough. Jesus Christ. All right. Later, idiots.